computer set up. Everything going here. And we should be good. Hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is June 16th, and this is the June 16th DexQuest Devstream. So, we are going to be doing some more combat stuff today, specifically in and out of combat interactions. Hello Cache Override, welcome back. I am indeed alive. I've been busy for the past, 2 weeks. So it's been very hard to stream at good, stable, regular times. But now I think that's over, at least for a while. So we should be able to get back on track and actually do weekend streams. So that'll be nice. But hello, Ryan. Welcome back. How are you doing today? So anyway, like I was saying, we are going to be doing combat interactions, specifically interactions with the outside world affecting options inside of combat and vice versa. So we started setting this up on Thursday. We didn't get all the way through it. We got about as far as setting up the actual environment. But today we are going to focus on getting the actual combat situations to resolve properly and then dump you back out to the overworld. And then we're going to set it up so that we can, actually cause combat interactions to affect the outside world and vice versa. Doing well, sir. Wanted to drop by and watch the process. Love the demo and love watching game dev. Well, I like to assume that I'm at least good white noise for people to fall asleep to / work to. But I'm glad that the demo was enjoyable. Although I really do need to update the demo that I have on the website, because it's... I need to update it, just because it's so old at this point. Although I guess... anyway. Okay, focus. So, I'm going to go ahead and let's start with... I'll show you what I currently have, which is not much. It's literally just the initial camera positioning. So, if we hit play... we'll actually go in. But one of the things that we need to do before we can actually start is we need to get the combat transition from the outside world to combat to function with the new combat system. It currently does not. So this is the intro cutscene, by the way. It's literally just a camera position, as you can see right here. Not a lot going on there. So let's go ahead and we're going to jump actually to our out of combat test area. And then we are going to open up our TQ Scene Manager. Unless I called it TextQuest Scene Manager, because of course I probably did. You lie so hard. What? Well, that's interesting. Okay. I'm going to do this then, because it's clearly lying to me. Let's see, Sleepy Owl common, Sleepy Owl soft common, scenes, scene loader. Oh, that's right. It's because it's called scene loader, not scene manager. Duh. Let's see. There should be a TextQuest scene loader. Really? Nothing? Well, that can't be right. I have a override class for this, but why do I not see it? There it is. Jeez. Hello, how to. Name previously was Staples. Okay. Well, I will call you how to. I'm assuming that's how to and not who to, because it technically is 0, but either way, welcome back. Let's see. Yes, indeed, you feel you got lots of updates as well with my own work. Makes me feel inadequate sometimes. Yeah, well, that's just part of game dev, right? I always feel kind of bad whenever I compare my progress to people that are working full time on their game, and I'm like, I wish I could make that much progress in 1 month. It's very difficult to actually. Usually they get done in about a week. What I get done in a month, and it's kind of infuriating, but it's how to. Okay. Alright, that's like the first time I've gotten someone's name right. That didn't take me multiple times, I guess. Working on JavaScript. What are you working on JavaScript for? Or I guess what are you trying to get it to do? Okay, so our current scene loader has a function that will load specifically to combat. And we basically need to copy this. And we're going to rename it. Combat transition. We'll call it new combat transition for now. Async. And before we start working on that, I am going to need to have this. So we're going to go ahead and say public static void load new combat scene. Combat start info. Yeah, I guess we do want that. Combat start info. Combat start info. Info. Float fade in is equal to 2f. Float fade out is equal to 2f. We might also be able to fix our fade problem where it doesn't seem to fade in properly. Although I guess it always seems to work in the editor, just not in the. Let's see. New combat transition async. Okay. So that all works pretty well. Let's go ahead and come down here. DQ instance level names, get level name, blah 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 blah. Music. Camera, start transition, combat camera. Interesting. Oh, right. I remember why that is. That's something else. Combat camera is the thing that does our Final Fantasy style white spreading. Let's see. They're making some fancy WebGL diagrams. Oh, fancy. Haven't done JS in a while though. Workflow's janky. Yeah, it's a different kind of coding style. You have an estimate on when the game will be out? I do not. I'm trying to finish the second third of the game by the end of summer. So that's going to require me to create the spider combat sequence as well as finish up the woods area, which is mostly done. There's a lot of enhancements that I want to make in the canyon as well still. At least the bridge collapse scene is finished there, though. So at this point, it's mostly minor stuff in the canyon. It's basically a lot of little things that I need to do in the overworld. Then I'll be able to move on to the last third of the game. And I also need to get some work done on the custom adventure stuff. Anyway, so let's go ahead. We're going to come up to here. Let's do async. Yes. Loading is pretty easy there. Okay, so we're going to change this from current manager of type DQ combat to combat system. Wow, that just did not work. Oh, this is so much worse. Oh, crap. Okay. So actually, fun fact, this won't work yet. I need to make a change. So let's go ahead and say new combat system. We're going to save this. I have to move my test scripts, all of them, into the TextQuest folder because it will currently not work since the TextQuest stuff is in its own assembly definition file. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be a massive recompilation. Agreed. Excruciatingly difficult. Got VA work. Traditional digital art commission sheet to make. Full website to make. Family and chores. House cleaning, pets. College, 2 part-time jobs. Don't know how people manage to get so much done with full busy lives. Yeah, well, yeah. That's very, very true. I guess typically the people that can make the most progress are the ones that get to work exclusively on their game full-time, which I am, of course, very envious about. Okay, so I guess I'm going to just put this under a combat folder here because it's the new combat system. So this is going to be a pretty big shift, and I really hope it doesn't break timeline. It might. I might end up having to close Unity and reopen it, which would be very annoying, but... Alright, so that at the very least is going to cause a recompilation. So we're going to need to let that go, and if I'm lucky I can get this to close before it does anything, except it's probably not going to, yeah. Oh good, aha! I managed to avoid it. Nice. So we can go ahead and fix these real quick. Oh, interesting. Oh, right. Wait, what? Interesting. Oh, I'm guessing it's because I don't have it referencing Cinemachine. Okay. Oh boy, new timelines. This is canon now? Broken or not? Yeah. Man, that would be terrifying if it actually caused a new timeline just by me re-importing things. Ugh. Okay, so let's go ahead and let that compile. Apparently I had several line endings that were problematic. Let's go ahead and close that. Alright, let's go ahead and let that save out. Nice, and we should be good. I'm guessing these are Cinemachine. Yep. Okay, so we just need to come down here to our sleepy.owl text quest, and I just need to add. I'm amazed I don't already have a reference to it, but I don't. Cinemachine, which of course doesn't have a thing. Okay, well, let me fix that real quick. So the problem is that now that my combat scripts are, now that my combat scripts are under the text quest folder, they're being affected by the text quest assembly definition file, which does not have a reference to Cinemachine, and therefore these scripts can't know about it, but obviously I'm trying to do stuff with them, which means that I need to make a Cinemachine assembly definition file, because of course I do. So let's go up here to standard assets, asset store, Cinemachine. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and just right click, create assembly definition. We'll call this Cinemachine. Okay. Once that's created, I will want to create an editor version of that assembly definition file, because assembly definition files will pull in all scripts, including editor scripts, which will cause builds to fail, because, you know, you're not allowed to have editor scripts in a build. Okay, so that's gone through. Let's go ahead and say create. Oh, here it is, SOS. Editor assembly definitions. Of course, it has 3 of them. We'll just go ahead and create all 3 of those. That's a little tool that I threw together to make editor assembly definition files much easier to deal with. Just automatically finds all the editor folders and appropriately makes assembly definition files with everything checked off the way that it should be inside of them. Let's go ahead and clear this. Oh dear. Oh, God, are you serious? Well, I think this one needs an extra reference to, I'm assuming, Unity Engine. Of course not. That's about right. Well, give me a second here. Let's see. It needs, I suppose, a reference to Unity Engine.rendering.postprocessing, which makes me think that it specifically is talking about this, which of course I'm going to need to. I really should just update, honestly, but because I don't have that right now. Yep. Oh, there it is, com.unity. Okay. Say I thought that Unity would have one, so it's com.unity post-processing run time. Is that what I need? Maybe. Well, at the very least, I can come back down to here. Let's go ahead and add a Cinemachine one. Apply there. So lots of editor shenanigans that have to happen here. Wake up a hero who's to save the kingdom. Go into the sewers and find the king dead by a goblin. After beating in the head with a slab too heavy to carry, you collect your scepter and open the evil door. That's a very different kind of game. Okay, so let's see. Clear you guys. Okay, so everything's now Cinemachine. And you're not going to tell me which one it is, are you? Nope, of course not. Okay, so Cinemachine post-processing. I'm guessing that just means that Cinemachine needs this. Okay. So we'll go ahead and add a reference to com.postprocessing runtime, hit apply. Alright, so we'll see if that gets rid of our errors. I love it when I set out to do something that should be fairly trivial, and then I just run into a bunch of other smaller things that make it way worse. Alright. So I'm assuming then that this one wants a reference to the editor stuff. And now we find out. Yeah, it is. Unity editor.rendering. Oops. Okay. Oh my goodness, are you serious? The typer namespace editor does not exist in the namespace Cinemachine? Are you serious? You must need a reference to the Cinemachine editor too. Because of course you do. Because I can't have nice things. I'm assuming the same is true about Cinemachine editor 2. We'll find out after these messages. Boom, called it. Okay, so probably gonna need Cinemachine editor 0. Okay, hopefully that'll fix it all, and then we can move on. One day we will compile, and I will be able to continue working. All of this because of script locations. As much as I like assembly definitions, the strict structure that they impose can be really frustrating to work with sometimes. There we go. So now, I can come back here, reload. Oh crap, that's gonna... Yeah, alright. We'll let that finish. So I'm gonna need to come up to here. Oh my god, really? That's the thing that's really annoying about this, is that whenever you have to reload, it has to load and then reload again, because the previous reload was like a cached reload. So it's infuriating. Okay, there we go. So now I can come up here and I can say, one, I can get rid of you, and two, I can say using sleepyowl.common. I'm sorry, not common, .textquest.combat. Let's go all the way down here. Alright, so now instead of TQ combat, we're going to say combat system. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. We don't particularly care about that, but sure. Combat camera, in transition, fade out, combat start view. That I don't actually want to automatically have happen. I want that to be controlled through the timelines. And really care about anything else. Combat system. Okay, I think I can do that. So I think all I need is to make those calls. Should be anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and let that compile. Over here, I'm going to edit my enemy script. Sounds like any day playing Skyrim, plan to take down something trivial and run into loads of smaller things on the way to make it worse. Yeah, it's mostly just a workflow problem, though. It gets better. Well, this is the one that I hate. I hate it when it does this. So currently, what it's doing is it's unloading each module individually, then reloading them, and that drives me nuts because it takes forever. Okay. So for this, I basically actually just want to come up to here, don't I? So I'm going to see where my load combat scene was getting called. Right here. And we're just going to say load new combat scene instead of load combat scene. Okay. So now I should be able to play this scene, which will let us, just run up and interact with the troll. I should be able to hit the troll, initiate a combat transition. It should transition into combat, and then it should actually start combat. So I guess before we do that, let's go ahead and get the combat set up to pull up the menu and do all the appropriate fade-ins and whatnot. And also turn off automatic play, which it's currently doing. So combat, in combat test. I love that I called it in combat test. Okay. So we have our intro. Let's come up to here. We're going to minimize these. add a new track group. We'll call this UI. Okay, so we're going to say playable track. Oh, you son of a... Yep, that's about right. Alright, let's see. Core, scripts, timeline. So of course I'm going to have to do this myself, because I can't have nice things. And I forgot assembly definitions don't get included in the timeline. My god. Why do you suck so much, Unity? Okay. Fortunately, I can drag the clips on here manually. It just sucks that I can't right-click to create them. Okay, so I believe we want to pull out that. God, this is really going to slow things down. And let's go ahead and we'll just drag in our combat system. Okay, that should pull up our actual... Huh, does it not? I guess not. Okay. Alright, whatever. Can I at least add my tracks? Okay, so I can add tracks that way. I just can't do the generic tracks. That's really annoying. Okay, so this should pull up the actual combat menu. Let's go ahead and turn this off so it doesn't do play on awake. Everything else should be fine. Oh, hello. You changed. Interesting. I didn't... Oh, I wonder. So I made a... I think my right-click create timeline asset might actually have some problems. Maybe. Hold on. Let me go ahead and save this. And then we're going to go to... I need to check out my context commands. Oh, not slash context. Of course. So I think it's like SOS. Context. There we are. I'm going to BRB, then lurk for a while as I've got some of my own stuff to do. But we'll be watching nonetheless. Keep up the great work, dude. Well, alright. Sounds good. I will, I guess, not see you when you get back, but I will be here when you get back. Alright, so, yes, here we are. I need to say, undo dot register, not created object undo. It would be register, not undo, because that's deprecated. I guess it's just complete object undo. Okay, and we're going to pass in our director, and then assign timeline. And I guess this would be... No, I don't want to be able to undo a created asset. So let me try this again. So the problem was, I think that our current method of right-clicking and creating a timeline asset through the context command, it works, but it doesn't mark the object as dirty. So when we actually progress, like when we change scenes, it loses its reference, which isn't the worst thing ever, but it's something that should be fixed. So I think this new method will fix it. So let's go ahead and open it up. We'll say create timeline asset. That's going to go to text quest, combat, test timelines. We'll call it phase 1. Yes. Okay. And, oh, interesting. It just, so it automatically generates that. Okay. Well, that works. The main thing is that now you can see that our scene has registered a change. So I'm going to save, go to the other scene, and then come back and make sure that it still is correct. So let's go to out of combat test. Let's go back to in combat test. Combat system timelines phase 1. Okay, nice. Okay, so that works. Let's go ahead and get rid of phase 01 there. We'll rename this as phase 01. Okay, and now we can go to our out of combat test again. Hit save, and we should be able to hit the troll now, should do the transition, and then combat should actually start. We should get the fade in, the initialization, everything that you would expect. Hello, Sky. Welcome back. How you doing tonight? Oh, that's funny. He's facing the other way. Oh, that's right, because he's not actually supposed to move. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to do this. Oh, got a null reference, huh? Where did you come from? Oh, really? Fine. I guess I need to finish hooking up those references, don't I? Alright, I thought I had already done that, but apparently not. Let's go to in combat test, combat system. It needs a reference to the player, which should be, oh, not there, that's the parent. There. And I don't think the troll is set up right now. Yeah. So we should be good there. Oh dear, it's probably going to want phases too. Well, let's go ahead and just give it one. Health range, we'll say, this is a test, so I guess we'll give it a health range from 4 to 1. Stance behavior, none. Stances, 1, which I guess will be our phase 1 here. Okay. That should be all we care about. We don't really have multiple phases for this particular fight. So let's go ahead and switch back to the out of combat test. Try that again. Okay, so we're going to hit this. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Ah, that makes sense, actually. Where does it? Now that let's, hold on. Something strange has happened. I guess I don't want my introduction cutscene to actually be the same thing as my idle cutscene. So that's not really much of a problem. It's mostly just a functional one that I need to be aware of for the test. Because if we hit, you can see that we spin, and then our options show up, and then after a few seconds, we hit that. So those should show up pretty much at the same time that the options do, which means that they are not showing up when I would expect, and that's not good. So let's go to our, where are you? Get rid of you, scene loader. Here, I'm going to pull up my combat system, go to definition, start combat, let's see, hide info, okay, interesting, we're not doing any of the show declaration stuff, how curious. I guess that's fine. Let's go ahead and go back here to our in combat test. We'll just real quick, because I'm super paranoid about this. We'll change this timeline a little bit. So instead of this showing our select action clip, we'll just let it be the initial one that sets the fade in. We will also go ahead and set these to be of duration 3. Apparently I can't do that, because of course I can't. So let's try that again. It'd be really nice if I could move them all, but I can't. So we'll just move these to be there. Okay. Let's go ahead and create a new idle, essentially. Oh, come on, work with me here. I'll just call this idle. This is just going to be, oh, why did I do that? Because I'm stupid, that's why, because I can just do this. Call this idle. And then I can right click and say create timeline asset. Let's go to text quest combat. Test timelines. We'll call this test idle. Okay. And then we will go ahead and say add track group. We want the camera, I guess, to probably be set. So camera. Let's also go ahead and set our track group to be character, or to have characters, or shaders, I guess, because I apparently can't spell characters. Let's go ahead and add another track group. This will be our UI. We'll have a playable track. We'll have a playable track. This will be for the troll. Yep. Of course not. Sorry, I really don't like that it just hides it. So select combat action clip. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. We'll make you last 3 seconds, not 6 seconds, 3 seconds. Let's go ahead. We need to say characters. Look at target clip. Let's go ahead and move you again. 3 seconds long. Why? We'll set it. Not always follow, just once. Let's see. Characters. This will be our troll. And our target is, of course, going to be our main camera. We don't care about always following. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. Call this hero. Come on, work with me here. I'm going to put this in there. Okay, so that should make sure that our characters are oriented towards the camera, making it, not look ridiculous. Let's go ahead and add our Cinemachine stuff. Cinemachine track, followed by a playable track with our Cinemachine clip in there. And collapse you. This is going to go to our idle camera, as will this shot. And we are going to want to have our camera in here with our idle camera set to here. Alright, so next, let's go ahead and hit save. That's our idle cutscene. So after our intro cutscene, I guess we kind of want to... Do I want to play a cutscene like that? Hold on. How was I handling this in the previous test? Let's see. Test scripts, data, blah, 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 combat core, test script. Here we are. Troll. Timeline assets, troll intro. Look at target clip, and then there should be an idle here. Failure, transition. Oh, wait. Do I just... Oh, I just show it. Okay. Then let's go back up here to... Oh, I'm already in the combat system. Okay, so I think I can just do this then. So let's go ahead and let that play. So I'm not going to worry about actually the idle timeline for now. I think I might not even need it. Let's go ahead and jump back out to our out of combat test. We'll hit the troll again, spiral in, and then we should be in combat. And then we're going to have to set up, obviously, the other combat choices that we have, but that shouldn't actually take us too long. So we're going to say hit. I'm going to take a drink. There we go. Okay, so that's that. We will go ahead and stop playing. Oh, that's funny. Our HUD is still open. Huh. That's kind of awkward. Huh. I'll point that out next time we get into combat. But our HUD is still open, so you can see the reticle. That's funny. Okay, so let's go to our combat system. We have our timelines. We do not need the idle, actually, because our fail timelines and all those will actually be the thing that open up our menus. Okay, so let's go to phase one. Phase one is going to be, if I recall correctly, it's going to be our initial positioning, so right about here. Let's go ahead and go to our timeline. We'll add a track group, call this cameras. Add a track group, call this characters. We'll add a track group, and we'll call this attacks. Okay. So let's go ahead and do a couple of things. Add an attack section track, add a Cinemachine track, along with a playable track, and then along with another playable track, we will go ahead and say, collapse all of you, collapse you, Let's go to our combat scripts. All right. So we have a set Cinemachine camera clip that needs to go there. We have a look at target clip, which needs to go here. Characters. So do that, followed by you. We will always follow in this case. We always want, and for the most part, we're almost always just going to use the y-axis for our look at target, because that means it's just going to rotate along the y-axis. If we do other axes, then it gets kind of weird because the character will actually tilt forward or back, and that makes it look like perfectly flush with the camera, which actually makes it look weird, because it would mean they're basically doing like Michael Jackson style leaning to get to the angle they need to get to. Okay, so we're going to call this troll. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. Call you hero. This in. Okay. This is going to be for phase. Oop. Oh, right. The phase 1. That's a machine shot clip. Again, phase 1, but we're not done because we actually need to blend between cameras. So we're going to go ahead and drag this. Then I wonder if I can just do that directly. Nope, I can't. That is the answer to that. So we're going to do this. We're going to make that our idle camera. We're going to make this 2 seconds long. Let's make this 4 seconds long. We'll have it start 1 second in. So we get about a blend of that. That's a bit much. Let's go ahead and shorten this guy to 2 seconds, or 1 second, and we'll just have this start at 0. Okay. So now we need to do our attacks. Let's go ahead and grab our combat system. We're going to add an offense section clip. And here is where things are going to get kind of fun. So to start, it's going to be of type single, because we're going to choose between going left and going right. However, we'll only have the option to go right if certain criteria is met. So, let's get a few things set up, I guess. Geez, we're going to need all of the cameras. You know what? I think I have an idea that I would like to try. So with my current setup, I need to have a unique camera movement or camera blending for each camera whenever I fail. So if I fail from the first phase, I have to blend back from, I think, like this camera to this camera. If I blend from the second phase, then, you know, it's like this camera all the way back to this camera. And the problem is, like, each one of those blends is a completely different timeline. But it would be really nice if I could set it up so that I can just have an arbitrary camera to start and then a secondary camera that's the idle camera. So basically, instead of having to specify a shot here, it would be really nice if I could just have a clip that basically does this, but only it doesn't take a virtual camera. It just is the existing camera, basically. I wonder if I could do that very easily. Because the alternative to that is basically setting up a custom blend operation. If we go to our camera, you can see that we have this custom blends scriptable object here. And that allows me to specify a bunch of blends, but I really don't want to create that. It would be much better if I could just have a shot blend from the active camera to the target camera. Maybe I can do that, actually. I wonder if... Let's go to phase 1. Or I guess we'll make a generic phase or failure timeline. So let's go ahead and say playable director. I'll call this fail. We will create timeline asset, text west, combat, test timelines. We'll just call this failure timeline. Okay. Let's go ahead and say track group, cameras, track group, characters, track group, UI. Okay, so we're going to have a playable track. Of course, that does nothing because why would it ever do anything? We're going to say select action. Let's go ahead and smash that in. We'll do another playable track. We'll do a Cinemachine track and then another playable track. Okay, add a Cinemachine shot clip. This will last for 2 seconds. And we'll have another Cinemachine shot clip that lasts for 4 seconds. It starts at 0. So I guess actually it would do that. That's probably fine. Okay, so this one is going to actually have a camera. So it's going to be our intro camera. Oh, why do I keep getting these mixed up? But the first one is not going to have a camera. So if we were to do this, you can see that we're not going to specify a camera here. And I'm hoping that that will just assume that it's the current one. We'll find out if that's the case. It would be very nice if it was. But we're going to need to say set Cinemachine camera clip. Let's go ahead and move that to here. Slam this down. So idle camera is going to be, oh, come on, work with me here, idle camera. All right, where's our combat system? Drag this in, that should help with that. Let's go ahead and say here, oh, yep, there we go. Look at target clip, let's go ahead and do that. We will have you, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this. We'll shorten these guys. Okay, so this is going to be our hero. Targeting our camera. Always follow. Let's go ahead and duplicate. Control. Okay. Only difference here is that now it's the troll. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to jump back over here to phase 1. Select our offense section. Our fail timeline is going to be our fail place. Or our fail timeline. Fail priority, 0, that's fine. Follow target. Yes, that's fine. Our target is, of course, our camera. Then our fade in duration is 1. Completed alpha is 0. That's all fine. All of these controls. We don't care about the sound manager stuff for now. I guess I could load it real quick just to select stuff, which I probably should do. So let's go ahead and save this. We're going to collapse all of this, and we're just going to drag in scenes. Load splash fade in so that we can select all this stuff. Let's go back here. Alright, so multi-attack sound, which we don't really care about, I guess, so I don't need to worry about you. Complete sound. Forget what I made for that. Let's see, combat success. Right. I'm assuming it's not that. Oh, definitely not that. Probably not that. But, that's probably fine. I don't remember what it actually was. Maybe that? That's definitely not that. We'll just do that. Alright, let's go ahead and grab our prefab, which of course can't be found, so we have to manually look for it again. Because Unity sometimes just wants me to take so much time. Attacks, combat, attack label. Alright, so now we're going to have 2 actions here. One is going to be attack the troll. Hello, Dusted Ham. Welcome back. How you doing today? I saw you were streaming, by the way. I didn't realize you were doing that. I didn't see that you were doing that until I started my stream, or I would have tuned in. Sorry about that. Alright, so this is going to be on our left. It is going to start phase 2 direct combat. It is not going to be a hazard, so we don't need to worry about that. Spawn point, right. That I don't know. I don't have anything for that yet. So I guess we're probably just going to kind of ballpark it. And let's just go ahead. We'll say attack positions. So it's like roughly here. Let's go ahead and say from there, something like that. That's probably way off, but it's okay. Direct. Let's go ahead and move this. We're just going to put it over here. We'll call this crate. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back here. select everything. So these would be on the direct one. It is not going to be parented to the spawn, although it doesn't really matter. It does not have any attack criteria, so we don't need to worry about that. But the next one does. We're going to say crate, I guess would be the name of it. We're going to have crate combat. Come down to here. Spawn point would be under crate. Now this we do actually have criteria for. So we're going to need to come down here, create SOS, text quest, combat, attack criteria. So we'll say attack criteria, test crate. No worries, wasn't really doing a lot. Sorry, I've been around too much, been busy. Yeah, I mean, how dare you? How can you be so rude to disrupt people's schedules by having work to do? What kind of person does that for 2 whole weeks? But yeah, no, it's completely understandable. It has also been busy for me. Okay, so here's what we want. If it's valid, we want it to be visible, and if it's invalid, we want it to be hidden, which means that it doesn't show up at all. Shocking, I know. So we're going to say session is going to be, it is going to be a session check, which means it's just basically looking at what we have in the session. It's going to be a bool. It is going to be of type combat lever active, and if it is equal to true. That's all we really care about. So let's go ahead and collapse that, okay. We're going to come back here. We're going to drag in our attack criteria here. Cool. So now we should be able to, this will also be interesting because this is the first time we've actually tested this. But a couple of things. One, this needs to go to about there. I'm going to make this last instead of 4 seconds. I'm going to double that to 8 because I'm slow. So let's just go ahead and slam these guys out. Okay. And is there anything else I need to do? We have our fail timeline set up. We don't care about our multi-attack sounds. And multi-attack sounds. Why are you showing up when you're of type single? Like, these shouldn't be here. So why are they? Is my editor messed up? Because it kind of seems like it is. Which is weird to me. Because, yeah, like, this stuff should only, multi-attack success timeline should only show up if, freaking, you know what I bet needs to happen? Alright, we're going to close Unity and reopen it real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. So yeah, apologies. I need to close Unity and reopen it so that timeline can work properly, because that's the secret to making timeline work, you see. It's not about writing accurate code that works well. It's about, you know, just closing and reopening Unity. I really wish I understood why it did that. Fortunately, it seems like timeline is a lot more reliable in builds. It seems like it doesn't really run into bugs or anything. It's just that it has weird editor behavior, which is usually the reverse of what you get in dev problems. Usually there's like a problem in the build, but not in the editor. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's annoying nonetheless. So once this compiles and reopens, we should be able to check that, one, our editor scripts are actually working, and two, I actually kind of wonder if that's going to fix our little problem where I couldn't right-click and create clips. And three, once those two things are out of the way, we can just go back to the out-of-combat test and then go hit our troll and get into combat again. Because we should be able to, at the very least, navigate to the first combat choice and then check to make sure that the combat choice for crates does not show up unless we activate the lever. Okay. I do really wish I had music for compilation times. Like I should. Oh, why don't I do that? I should just get like a hotkey for my avatar guy, so whenever it goes into compilation mode like this, and we just kind of have to sit here, he can make like, I don't know, random sound effects or random music selections, or just play some sort of clip from a really old obscure anime or something. I don't know, something's better than nothing. I just hate having dead air. Like that. Okay. Oh. Oh, pfft. Of course. I had the splash screen fade level still loaded, which should not be a thing, so let's go ahead and unload this scene. So first, let's go ahead and test our timelines. Phase 1, and... Yep. Oh my god, really? So, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but yes. So if you're working in timeline, just so you're aware, if you ever move your scripts around, and they have custom editors, they will not draw correctly until you close Unity and reopen it. I do not know why, but that is what will happen. So just be aware. Really, really stupid. At the very least, like, the property drawers drew correctly. It's just weird that for some reason the editor itself did not. Alright, whatever. So that seems to work. And of course it moved that out, because why would it? Okay. That should be pretty much everything that I was expecting there. Cool. So let's go ahead and back out and go to our out of combat test. Alright. So we should be able to hit the troll, navigate to that position, and check that it's actually going to spawn the labels when it should. Got an excellent video game music playlist that contains a number of chill and motivational songs if you're interested. Makes for good background noise and prevents dead air from happening. Nothing not safe for work or ever. Not safe for work, not work, or outrageous. It's mostly, it's a hard call to make because if I have music, then what? No reference. Are you serious? What do you mean it hasn't been added? I added these things. It's right there. You lie. You lie, liar. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why it did that. The problem with actually playing music is that it causes a bit of a problem with Twitch because I don't have the rights to a lot of music. So Twitch would like mute my videos, which is never a good thing. Why are you bad? Interesting. So it's failing to load in combat test. Which is... Oh, you know what I bet it is? Let's do this thing. Yeah, I bet its name is wrong now because it was probably storing its path. Because of course it was. We are going to go to... Rid of the test stuff. We'll go to resources, game manager, scene loader. Is that right? Yep. Level names. Come up here. Okay. So they're all correct. What I would expect. Then why are you messing up? Because they're totally included in the build and they are enabled. Huh. I'm actually a regular broadcaster and streamer affiliated in many, if not most, songs and places. I don't have that issue. It's mostly a paranoia thing because I had Twitch flag one of my videos, like, God, it's actually really funny because they flagged my video for a song that wasn't in the video. They just thought it sounded like the song, and they have, you know how your videos will expire after 2 weeks? Well, technically, the approval for that video to unmute it happened after that, and now it has a warning expiration date of negative, like, 20 days. So I think it's just always going to be on my account, which is hilarious. But, let's see. Why are you breaking? Scene in combat test could not be loaded. But that doesn't make sense because it's there. I'm looking at it. It's right here. Okay. There we go. Like, it's there. I don't... This is really weird. Okay. Maybe the troll is messed up? I mean, that's all I can really think of. I don't know why that would be the case. But let's try it again. Fairly certain 90 plus of it is fair game to play. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's also part of a problem if I just need to sit down and figure out what I want to do to help improve the channel. Because obviously I need to have, you know, oh my god, this is going to drive me nuts. I bet it's because of something really, jeez, double tapping play. I bet this is because of something really, really stupid that happened when I moved the scene around. So now I probably have to, like, remove the scene and then re-add them, because of course I do. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to remove these. We'll add the open scene. We'll come back down here. Combat, combat, combat. We will drag in combat test as well. So now both of those things are totally in there. Let's go ahead and we'll say scene loader, come back here, come to level names, out of combat test. Like, it's all there. It's all there. It should be correct. So let's find out. And if it fails again, I swear I'm going to loop through all of the build scenes and just see what they are before I try to load it. And I will just say, of course it's not working because something stupid happened probably. Oh my god, it was that. It was literally that. Okay. Well, whatever. Also, there's the reticle that you can see. It's in the middle of the screen still, which is funny. Okay. Is it... Interesting. Is this because... Okay, never mind. I wonder if it's because the hero is still there, but... Yay! So, you can see that Attack the Troll showed up over here. It's like way smaller than I was expecting, but it showed up. I wonder if it would make sense for me to actually come up with a technique for these that would like have them do new line wrapping. Seems like it could be useful, but anyway. So our crate option did not show up, which is good, and I want to make sure that I only have the one. So combat attack label pool, cool. So there's only one. Let's go ahead and stop. We're gonna redo this, except this time I'm going to activate the lever, and that should have the other thing, or that should have the other label show up. Well, thank you for your well wishes. I really do need to just. Okay, so the crate has been positioned. Let's go ahead and hit this. I just need to do better at organizing my channel in a way that makes it enjoyable for for viewers. So we got some amount of it working at least. Let's go ahead and go to our next battle sequence, and yes, cool. So we have both of the labels showing up now because our switch has been activated. So cool. We have confirmation that at the very least our hidden stuff is working. So let's go ahead and go back to our in-combat test, and we'll finish setting up the whole combat loop. Okay, so let's go ahead and... Oh, you know what else I need to do? I need to do a couple of things. First, we're going to collapse you, and then we're going to collapse you and you. Here we are. So I need this to not just be true or visible if combat lever active is true. We also want it to be true only if our crate has fallen is equal to false. Because we don't want you to be able to attack over here if you've already made the crate fall. Doesn't really make sense. So, oh, that's interesting. kind of worried about that. Like the label here is totally borked, which is not great. I don't know why it's doing that. That's very worrying, because it seems like everything else is correct. Okay, whatever. Well, let's go ahead and just let that go. Let's hit save. Cool. Back to our timeline scripts. So we have phase 1 done. Although I guess I should probably move this, like, I don't know, here-ish, and then move this here-ish. I kind of wonder, actually. Let's go ahead and grab our phase 1, come down here to our timeline. I forget if I had an option, yeah. But so I have an option to do following target, but not per label. Okay. That's unfortunate. I guess we'll just leave it then. I probably should change that so it can be per target, or per label, instead of just all of them look at you or all of them don't. Okay, so that's that. Let's go ahead and set up our direct combat stuff. This is going to be pretty straightforward. It's just going to be a multi-attack thing. Let's go ahead, right-click, create timeline asset, text quest, combat, timelines. I'll call this phase 02 direct. Let's go ahead and we're going to just create that. Come up to here, track group. We'll say, how do I want to do this? Camera. Pretty much the same thing again. Characters. Track group. Text. I feel at this point I should just have a template that I copy from. Let's go ahead and add a playable track for this. We'll call this the troll, and we only really need to care about the troll for this because at this point the camera is just completely ignoring the player. So let's go ahead, come up to here, and we'll collapse you, and you. Look at target clip. Okay, come back down to here. This is going to be our troll. All right. For this, we need to have our Cinemachine track. Interesting. SleepyOwl.com now has some that are below that. That's really weird. Oh dear, it can try to make a SOS track asset. Well, that probably shouldn't be a thing. Because that's an abstract class, so the fact that it is visible there is problematic. Let's go ahead and drag our camera into here. Add a new playable track. We'll add a Cinemachine shot clip. We'll make that last 2 seconds, and then we'll add another one that lerps over that. Before we do that, let's go ahead and say this is going to lerp from phase 1 camera to phase 2 camera direct. Okay, looking good. Let's go ahead and minimize that. We're going to go ahead and set Cinemachine camera shot clip. Do this, do that, do you. Okay, so that's our cameras and our characters. Let's go ahead and set up our attack. This is just going to be a multiple attack, no defense. We don't really care about that. I'm not really too concerned with the enemy in this test case being able to fight back. So let's go ahead and we're going to say it is of multiple type. Damage amount is going to be equal to 1. Multi-attack success timeline is going to be our, I guess it's not going to be fail, it would be success, which is weirdly similar. Okay, let me think. Yeah, okay. So our failure one actually does require one more playable track. Let's go ahead and drag this in. Combat system is, of course, going to be up here. Target is going to be the player. And really, I don't have that tooltip. Of course I don't. Let's go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this failure. And I'm just going to make another one called default success. Which I guess is actually what reset is now that I think about it. So let's go ahead and we'll rename this to default success. Go ahead and create that timeline asset. We'll call this default success because I'm boring. Okay, track groups, and track groups for days. First one is going to be, of course, our cameras. Track. Machine shot that lasts for 2 seconds before blaring back out to here. Okay. Pretty much what we would expect. Our next thing, so this is going to go from our direct cinemachine to our idle. Okay. And then we're going to want to have, of course, our cinemachine brain in there. I really hate that I can't right click to create those things now. That drives me nuts. So that's cinemachine camera clip. It's going to be our idle. Let's go ahead and set that there. Okay. Our characters. Playable track. We'll call this the troll. We're gonna have it. We're not really gonna bother with an animation for the troll being damaged. We're just gonna, have it be fine. And actually, I guess it's fine. I'll go ahead and do that. Target clip because we're gonna need it to look at the blend the entire time. So that's gonna be there, followed by there. Always follow will be checked off. There we go. And then finally, we're going to need our UI commands. We're going to have 2 playable tracks. One for select action, and then one for damage. Okay. Let's go ahead and say, of course, seriously nothing. That's so stupid. Deal damage clip, and then select combat action clip. Both of those things in there. Of course. I clicked off of it, and I doomed myself. So that is our default success. Let's go ahead and come back here. Combat system. Combat system. It is for the enemy. Back. Sorry about that. Well, welcome back, Dustin. Mostly we've been doing setup, so you didn't miss much. Also stretching, because stretching is important. Okay, so that should be all we need for the reset function. We're going to continue to have our fail be there. That's fine. Let's go back up here to our phase 2 direct combat. We have this. Okay, so our failure timeline is going to be just generic fail. Fail priority doesn't really have one. Fail on inaction is going to be equal to true. Trying to think what else I need to do here. Yeah, we probably want it to follow the target, so let's go ahead and give it our camera. Multi-attack success timeline is going to be default success. Multi-attack area, now this is where it gets a little more cumbersome. I'm not really a huge fan of this, but I guess we'll have to... I just hate using rect transforms in 3D space! That's probably going to change eventually. Let's see, attack curve, that's all pretty fine. Our attack count will be, I don't know, 10. Seems about right. Each attack will remain active for about, we'll say 5 seconds. 3 seconds probably fine. Let's also increase our duration here to 10, so it's going to be on there for a while. And let's see, completed alpha, label prefab. Yeah, we do need that. That's kind of important. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then all this stuff is good. We don't really need a sound manager, but I'll go ahead and pull that in again. Okay, so smash fade. Let's come back here. Multi-attack sound. I believe we wanted that to be like multi-attack combo sound. I guess we'll make that not that, because that makes no sense. I guess we'll just have it be the harp for now. Okay, complete sound, which I have no context for now. I think ended up just being letter placement. Yeah. Okay, last thing I need to do is do multi-attack area. God, the multi-attack setup is so ridiculously complicated. Looks like I might have to take off for a bit. Oh man, just yo-yoing in and out today. That's alright. Again, I'll probably be here when you get back, so. Excuse me, got the yawns. Okay. Real quick, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna unload this, and I'm going to load in combat test. Purely so I can grab my multi-attack area. Just gonna drag that over to here somewhere. Not gonna save that. I just wanna have. Okay, we don't really care about you. Event camera. Let's go ahead. F here. Where are you? Cool. We'll go ahead and plop this underneath our phase 2 direct combat. And I'm just gonna try to organize this real quick. So let's go ahead and say, God, the lighting glare is really, really bad. It's blowing everything out, which is making it kind of hard to look at it. Okay. So we need to go up back here to our multi-attack area, and it's white on white on white all over here, so it's very, very hard for me to see anything. Let's go ahead and turn off lighting so that I can focus a little bit easier. Oh god, that makes it so much worse. I cannot win. Okay, so we're just gonna like put you here. I think that's fair. Fair enough, at least. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to direct combat. Click on you. Multi-attack area is going to be right about there. Okay. So that should be the setup for our, go through and actually punch the troll to death. Let's see. Direct combat. And we have our success set up. Good, good, good. Okay. So next we need to go to crate combat, which is, of course, going to have its own multi-attack area. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of you. Rename you that. And let's just move this to like here. This is actually going to be kind of a weird one now that I think about it. I don't. Yeah, this one's going to be really, really weird. Let's go ahead, come back here to create combat. We'll create a timeline asset. Text quest, combat, test timelines. We'll call this create attack. Okay. We're going to add track group, and that track group is going to be 1 cameras, of course. Cameras. We're going to have a sin machine track, and then a playable track. Yada yada yada. We've done this whole song and dance before. I apologize that I have to slowly do it each time because I can't right click. Because timeline apparently hates me. Make this 2 seconds long. That's gonna move from phase 1 camera to phase 2 camera, which will be on the crate. Come back to here, phase 2 camera, crate. Okay, let's go ahead and assign our machine brain track group. We don't really need to worry about the characters too much, but I guess I'll do it just out of habit. Let's create a playable track. We'll call this the troll. Again, hero doesn't really matter because we can't really see them. Look at target clip. Work with me here. It's always going to follow. It will, of course, target the camera, and it will follow the troll. Well, or rather, make the troll follow. Gotta head out as well. Have an excellent rest of your stream and good vibes. More successful dev work, Chris. Make it easy. Well, thanks for stopping by, man. Good luck on your own stuff. Hopefully schedules won't be too bad, and nice progress can be made on both of our cases. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by. All right, so we're going to say right-click, track group. This one is going to be a little... Oh, no, this one's just going to be a normal attack, actually. So attacks, come up here, we're going to say combat, attack section. Let's go ahead and say offense section. Oh, you know what I didn't do in phase 2 direct combat? I didn't drag in my combat system there. Thought something was off. Let's go ahead and come back here to create combat, drag in our combat system. Okay, so we're going to make this last for there. We need this duration to be like at least 8 seconds, though. So that means we're going to extend all of this stuff. Okay, and it's going to be a multiple attack type. The damage amount is going to be 2. And then we will say success. That's a crate resolution timeline. Multi-attack area is going to be here. Attack count will be 3, I guess. And here's where the multi-attack stuff kind of comes to be problematic. No, it doesn't, actually. Hold on. I can change this. So we're just going to go ahead and say delete. I don't want this to be a multiple type. I would rather, actually, it be an offensive single type. So damage amount is going to be 0, but our failure timeline, of course, will be fail, I guess. Ah, that sucks because that's going to cause damage. Well, but this is a placeholder thing, so that's fine. Fail on inaction. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Yeah, so here's where things actually get to an interesting state. For something like this, should I have a time limit, or should I allow you to kind of go along at your own pace? Because I think having a time limit is the better way to go. It keeps things brief, so if you don't do it in a set amount of time, then you have to try it again. Yeah, I can't really think of a good argument for the case of having a, like, at your own pace combat option, so let's go ahead and just assume that it's going to have its own timer, like normal. Follow target will, I guess, still be the camera. Fade in duration, probably make that like 0.5. Completed alpha, completed fade duration, that's all good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and have that be a thing. We'll have that last for 3 seconds. Let's go ahead and just... So I need to actually come up with an action there, don't I? So this no longer has a multi-attack area. I can instead just do this. Come back to here. Delete you. Attack point. Come back here. Select this. So attack point is going to be used across the board. We don't have a playable that we have to play. Instead, we're just going to say hit parent to spawn. We don't care. We don't have criteria. Okay. So pretty straightforward there. Let's just go ahead and duplicate this. This will be called hit harder. Okay. And then we will duplicate this. And it will be just finish it with 3 exclamation points because I feel like I should make typing the exclamation points mandatory. Okay, so if that's successful, then that one will actually deal 2 damage, and it will have, let's see, a hazard timeline. We don't really need that. It's going to have a, where is it? Great resolution, there we are. Okay, so we are going to, I think that's all we really need to do. All right, so let's get to the crate resolution next. And, oh, actually one more thing, yeah, before I forget. I don't want to do that. And I think that's going to be fine, so yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back over to our crate resolution. Same thing, create a timeline asset, text quest, combat, timelines. We'll call this just crate resolution. Okay. So for this, we're going to need a new track group. Again, cameras. New track, oh, not a subgroup. This will be characters. And then objects. And finally, UI. Okay, so a couple of things. Cinemachine track, obviously. Playable track with our wonderful Cinemachine playable, add Cinemachine clip. This is going to be fading from here. It's going to be 2 seconds long to here, which is going to follow it. Actually, this one I think is going to be 1 second long. Let's go ahead and move you. And let's go ahead and set you as the crate follow. Characters, we're going to have a playable track. This will be our troll. There we go. Look at target clip. Cool. Let's go ahead and just get that going for the entire thing. Always follow. It's going to follow the camera. It's going to be the troll. Okay. Next, we're going to have an animation track. And this is where it's kind of going to be pretty easy, not too terrible, I don't think. Oh, shoot. I guess that's fine. I'm gonna do this real quick. Okay. I'm gonna just move this onto the parent game object. That way it's a little bit easier. So we'll call this crate parent. Cool. So now we're going to go ahead and animate this. We just need to have it kind of like fall off. I wonder if I should have it shake every time you hit. Nah, it's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and where are we? Crate resolution, here we are. So we're going to come up to our crate parent. Let's add a component. We're going to just add an animator. All right, we'll come back down here to phase 2, crate resolution. Let's go ahead and drag that crate parent into here. Okay, so we're going to start recording our time. We want it to be there with a rotation of that to start. And we'll have that kind of... geez, the wobble would probably be pretty good there. Having a wobble there, but I'm not going to put that much effort into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and say Okay, there's our keyframes for those. Then over the course of, I'm going to say 2 seconds. So right about to here, we'll have that rotation change. I guess actually over the course of 1 second, we'll have it rotate. So we're going to want to edit this. So it's like, oh, that sucks so hard. That makes kind of sense though, so I'm going to need to like awkwardly do this. So now it's going to... that's not bad. And actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and have it rotate all the way off, and then I'll just move it. So something like right about there. And about there, I feel. So it kind of like... Okay. Well, let's go ahead and hit F here to focus up. We should be good for that. That's the rotation. And then relatively quickly, I'm going to have it just collapse down. So probably about there. And we're just going to say right there. It's going to come off. Oop. It's going to hit the troll. And then we'll want to have it just like fall off backwards, I guess. Hold on, getting some lag here, so it's a little hard for me to properly position everything. So we're going to go there, and then we're just going to have it bounce backwards. So let's have it like up over here and like rotated, and then we'll have it eventually come back down and just be out of sight. So pretty cheap, but you know, it works. Now the real question is, does this scrub actually look nice? Looks decent enough. We're just testing this. So the idea is that, you know, you hit it, it causes vibrations, the crate falls, bounces off of the troll, and just goes away. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. I'm actually really curious to see what this looks like in motion, but for now... Oh, you son of a... Create resolution. Okay. So let's go ahead and call this set camera. Okay, so I'm going to preview this because I want to see it in action. Wow, that's really awkward, but it worked. So this is what we would do. God, the speed is so slow. Okay, so I clearly need to speed this up a bit. So let's go ahead and have this. So let's set the time to like 90. And then we'll set this time value to 120. And then I can just scrub. Oh, come on. I hate it when it does that. I hate it when it does that too. So the problem is, like, if you want to move a lot of keyframes in bulk, you have to click and drag. But the problem is that it's super sensitive where you click, and if you click in the wrong spot, it's going to try to like move keyframes, which is very infuriating when you're just trying to select them. So now I want to move them to like here, or probably closer to like here. There. Was that too much to ask? So let's go ahead and see that again. Way too slow. Okay, so let's go ahead and try moving this to like here even. Getting the rest of these. Moving them to there. Okay. So on something like this now. So this is what it is. Oh, except it totally stopped playing. Good enough. Okay, so that is our actual animation. Let's see. I think we're going to go ahead and add a playable track here. We'll have this be our deal damage. So right about the point of impact, which I think is right there. We're going to set this as a clip, so duration will be like 3 seconds long. It's going to be our enemy, and it will be, of course, referencing our combat system, which probably faster to just do that at this point. So this is damage. Okay. Then we're going to eventually have a playable track for our select action. Because this cutscene is also going to serve as our reset cutscene for this particular thing. So we are going to want to have actually another Cinemachine shot clip. We will also go ahead and have this hold for, that's about right, 2 seconds, really. Let's have this duration last for about 7 seconds, though, so we get a better blend. So we'll go back to our idle camera. Then we're going to just duplicate this, drag this to there, move this to here. This is going to be our idle camera again. And we're just going to have this basically be the entire time. Okay, so last thing is to have our select action back clip. Let's go ahead and go back to here. All right. So I think, I'm like 90% sure, that this will now, we should have a loop going. We haven't tried failure yet, but I think this will work. So the only thing we really have left now is ending combat, which is not a thing yet. We don't actually have a way for the new combat system to basically wrap up. So for now, let's go ahead and collapse all of these things. Okay, we're going to go back to our out of combat test. We'll get into combat. We'll start everything. Got to make sure I flip the switch. And then we should be able to cause the crate to fall. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over here. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go to battle. Do that. Okay, something. Did I do something? Oh, did I not set up the timeline for it? Hold on. So, phase 1. Timeline. Come down here. No? Did we have a null reference? No. Huh. I don't. I don't know why this won't work. Why it didn't work. Let's try it again, I guess. It's entirely possible that it was one of those really annoying things that it just broke because it felt like breaking. Which, if it doesn't work again, probably the solution is to quit Unity and then reopen it again, because of course it is. Okay. Oh my god, really? Okay. You son of a... Well, let's try it. That index out of range exception is a little disconcerting, but it should be fine. So we're going to close Unity, reopen it again for the second time on this one stream, and then I will hopefully be able to actually get through it. God, that's going to be so dumb if it's still problem. I guess if it's still broken, then that means that it's not a timeline problem, it's a me problem, so I'll have to go into debug mode. Which, you know, not great, really. I just want to drop a crate on a troll's head. Is that really so much to ask? The answer is apparently yes. It's just too much. Alright, well, while that's compiling, I'm going to take a drink real quick. Still, though, I think we're making good progress. We actually have, we've confirmed that our session checks, at the very least, are accurate, so they'll hide labels when they need to, and only reveal them when they should. There's, I mean, if we could get this to actually go through, I wonder if it's getting completed. Maybe the criteria is preventing it? Oh, that is something we need to do for the crate being dropped. I need to create a script that will basically set session variables. I think we talked about doing that in the past. I don't think I actually did it though. So, you know what's important for this? That. Okay. Battle. Ah, freaking. Oh, dang it, I was too slow! But yes, at the very least we did find out that hitting or not specifying a virtual camera will alert from whatever camera is active. So that's good. So some silver lining there, at least. For now, let's go ahead and go back to our in-combat test, and I need to just make that combo way longer. So let's go to phase 2, combat crate, come down to here. I guess we'll make this 4 seconds instead of 3, and then we'll make this 5 seconds instead of that. Seems correct. Okay. Okay. So that's that. Let's go ahead and try it again. It's super frustrating though that timeline sometimes just stops working. I wish I knew why, because it's my first instinct is that Unity isn't the problem, I'm the problem, but in this case that's not what it is. Unity is the problem and the solution is just to reset it, which is really dumb, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so we're gonna say battle. Nice. And nice. Yes! Yes! It worked! Ha! Okay. Well, now, unfortunately, if we battle again, I'll have the option still. So I'm actually going to go ahead and stop. And we're going to go to our in combat test, and I am going to make sure that I do not already have, I totally have a set, okay, hold on. Really? Really? I don't believe you. I'm going to go to scripts here. We're going to go to... You know, it would be much easier if I could just right-click in my timeline and actually create these things. But obviously that's a fool's errand. Why would I need that? Go back here to our timeline real quick. Come on, right-click. Ah, you suck so hard. Okay. We'll go down here to timeline. Activate torch. Really? That Really? I don't... That doesn't make sense. Did I not? Maybe I didn't. Okay, fine. I guess I'll go ahead and do that then. Okay, sure. Why not? Before I do that, though. CPL, combat, environment, player events, timeline. What about you? Nope. Alright, fine. I guess I don't have it. That can't be right, though. But whatever. We'll just really quickly add this. And this is going to go under a regular timeline, not combat, because this is useful everywhere else. So we're going to say session, create folder, set session value. Create. Ah, dang it. You know what I forgot to do again? Freaking this. Oh, that's going to be all the default script templates. Blah. It's just, I hate the default templates. They're so frustrating to look at. Okay. Go ahead and open that up, which will require us to wait 5 minutes. All right, so for set session value behavior, we don't care about anything besides on behavior play. We don't care about anything else. So we're just going to come up here. We're going to say public data ID. Oh, right. Obviously, it's not going to work yet because I need to namespace this. Ugh. Oh, text quest. Oh my god. Text quest. All right, come up to here. We're going to say public data ID. We'll just call it ID. It's equal to data ID dot none. Public session info type. Is that what I called it? Type is equal to session info type dot. Kind of. Yeah, I guess that's correct for now. Not really a huge fan of that, but okay. And then we're gonna say public bool value is equal to false. Public float value is equal to 0f. Public int u is equal to 0. Public string value is equal to nothing. All right. So pretty straightforward there. I wonder if I should make this into an actual class. I feel like that already exists. Session, hold on. Session utility, session value. I guess I don't really have that, which is kind of annoying. Although I'm curious what this is. Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's fine. So, grumble. Yeah. Well, we're gonna do this first. If application.isPlain. Okay. Switch type case session type dot bool break session dot set bool ID value. Okay. Oop. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. Case. Okay, so this is going to be float int string value value float value set float set int set string. Okay. So that's all that. Let's go ahead and go up here, get rid of these system checks because I don't need them. Get rid of you because I don't need you. Come up here, namespace, CPL, text west. Oh, right. And this is the worst part is that I have to freaking redo this whole thing. So script playable, set session value behavior playable is equal to script playable set session value behavior dot create based on the graph. Okay, this is going to just return playable. Then we're going to say set session behavior is equal to playable dot get behavior. Okay. Pretty easy. So next we're just going to do serialize field private data id is equal to data id dot none. Then serialize field private session info type is equal to bool. Serialize field private bool not bool value is equal to false. Serialize field float value is equal to 0f. Serialize field Okay, last one. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm just simply going to say behavior.id is equal to id, behavior.type is equal to type, typle, behavior.bool value is equal to bool value, behavior.int value is equal to int value. Oh, that did that stupidly. Behavior.string value is equal to string value. Behavior.float value is equal to float value. Not flare layer, float value. Alright. So that should all work. And that should be set up now. So we'll close these, let them compile, then fix the warnings because they're going to warn me about them inevitably. So let's go ahead and do that because of course I do. Alright. So now, those should recompile, and once we drop the crate, we will set a session variable to be a certain value, and the next time we try to drop the crate, it should no longer be possible to select that option. Okay, so now that that's done, we can probably just come out. I'll just make a new track group and call it session. I really wish I could set it there. Set session value clip. We'll just set this on start. It's going to be crate has fallen, bool value of true. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump back to our out of combat test. Play. Whoa, something's not right. There we go. To say I'm like way zoomed in there. That is not correct. Okay, so let's go to battle. Oh, freaking! Of course, I forgot to actually activate the crate. Go figure. I should have known as much. Let's try this again. Okay. So let's see. Hit. Okay, crate is positioned. Hit. Okay. So from here, let's go to our battle. Go crate. Hit. Harder. Okay. That dealt our damage. Then we get pumped back to the beginning. Nice. Okay. So let's go to our combat again, and it shouldn't be... Yes! Nice! Okay. Cool. So that works. This clearly doesn't because it's highlighting the wrong letter. But it works, and that's what's important. Huh. Wonder why it didn't clear that letter like it should have. It looks like it's going the wrong way. Huh. Alright. Well, in any case, so we have contextual out-of-combat settings affecting combat now. So by flipping the switch, I made the crate position in such a way that I could hit it to cause it to fall on the troll and therefore deal extra damage in one turn. And the next thing that we need to do is we need to get combat to kick you back out once you're done with combat. So once you actually beat the enemy, it needs to boot you back to where you were. Because the current system does not do that yet. The old system obviously did, but the current one does not. After that, we need to also make sure that our out-of-combat world reflects the changes that we made in combat. So if we do activate the switch in the outside world and then we drop the crate inside of combat, we need to make sure that when we go back to the outside world that the crate is gone, that it's not up here anymore. It's very important that we make sure that that works. And I think we actually have it set up in such a way that it should, because the crate will basically detect on start if it should exist or not. But that would essentially be the full, like a very, very stripped down and basic version of what our goal is, which is to have combat affect out of combat areas and vice versa, which is going pretty well so far. But I think we might call it a day there, just because we've been streaming for about 2 hours now, and it would be good for a little bit of a break. So I'm going to continue working on this, though, and hopefully by the next stream I will have all of the combat system basically good to go. So we'll be able to get into combat, affect the world outside of combat, or affect the world inside of combat by doing something outside of combat, and then actually carrying everything to its completion. There are some things that I'm trying to consider right now for combat. For example, it might be nice to... the current combat system has a very hard set location for where it puts you when you end combat. So if you run away or if you beat the enemy, then it'll always put you back at the same spot. It might be nice to have secret areas that you can unlock through combat. So if you beat the enemy in a specific way, then it will actually spawn you in a different level than where you were. And that would largely be in situations where you have like this dramatic fight between the player character and then the enemy, and they both end up like getting shoved off a cliff or something. So I need to support that, because there are actually a couple of areas where I will need to do that, or at the very least I will need to move the spawn position. Even if it's not a completely separate level, I will need to be able to move you to a position other than where you were when you started the fight. So that's kind of the next big thing, I guess, after I get combat resolution actually working, so getting out of combat. And that should also hopefully be done by the end of this weekend. It shouldn't be that terrible to do. So, all right, I think that's a good place to stop for the day. We actually have the crate being manipulated from the outside world, and you can actually attack it to cause damage, and then it will, of course, it will fall away, and then you cannot activate it again because you've already activated it once. So we have contextual interactions working, and whew, that's the start. But that brings our total completion, I think, of the new combat system up to like 70%. Once we get the loop working, well, I mean, the loop actually already works. Once we get the actual resolution working, that brings us really close to being finished, essentially. And then we should more or less be in a good position to just run a bunch of tests, make sure that everything seems to play all right, and that we don't get trapped in combat somehow. So, all right. I think that's a good place to stop. Real quick, any announcements before I sign off? No, I should be good. So, all right. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.